Qween.
Let's talk about Tyra, TMZ Tyra. Because while you've been gone, you still managed to get a lot of press, but the wrong kind of press that you, I'm sure, did not enjoy.
I did not.
Though you do have the title of being the only drag race queen on TMZ several times. Hair flip, hair flip, hair flip. Now, you seem like you had some fucked up shit happen, Tyra.
Mm-hmm.
You had something with security guards where they said that you were beating them up, they were attacking you. Let's tell the children, clear it up. What happened?
Okay, so we gonna talk about the security guard one first?
Sure, we could go through the double. We can do whichever one you want. One time, you were pulled over for having tinted windows, and then they searched your car and they found an ounce of weed, which is bullshit, by the way. And then another time, you were at a club doing an appearance, and somehow you and the security guard got knuckled up, and I don't really know the details. So you can tell me whichever one first that you want.
It doesn't matter. We'll start with the security guard.
Okay, security guard, security.
I will say this, both times I was headed towards North Carolina on tour. So I don't think I'm gonna go back to North Carolina for a while, because every time I head that way, I go to jail. And I
Probably. You've worked hard to stay your ass out of jail, Tyra, and you don't need to go as a successful, beautiful woman to jail.
That's been my goal this entire year. Not to go to jail.
No more jail.
No more jail.
Guess what Daddy is going to try to do this year, son? Not go to jail again. So what the fuck happened at this club?
The security guard. Okay, so I had just performed that night, and I was in the back, you know, like kikiing with everyone, and there was this guy there who I had hooked up with before or whatever. And so I called him over because he was like not speaking to me anymore. I was like, hey, did I do something to you? And he was like, you did something to my friend. I was like, okay, is that why you're not talking to me? He was like, yeah. I was like, well, which friend is it? And he pointed to him, and so I got up to go ask him, like, you know, if I do something to anyone, I want to apologize for it, because I don't mean to be rude to anyone. And I was like, hey, did I do something to you? And the moment I said that, he went off.
Wow.
And he caused a scene, and security came and like pushed us apart, and instead of grabbing him, security grabbed me and kept pushing me, and I was like, don't touch me, please don't push me.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Were you in drag in this moment?
No, I wasn't in drag.
So you were like, I just performed!
Yes.
I'm that beautiful lady that was on stage!
And you know me, I perform here a lot, so you should know that I'm not like, it's not me who's causing the problem. And I asked him several times to stop touching me, and he kept pushing me and kept pushing me.
This is the security guard or the other guy? The security guard.
Security guard. And security only came after me, and I wasn't hostile at all. Like, I'm calm, and the other guy's still going off, but they're allowing him to come towards me while they're pushing me away.
Right.
And so finally I pushed security back, and security didn't like it, so we started tussling.
So a serious beatdown commenced.
Yes.
You got seriously punched up in that. Did you do some damage too? Did you have long, extended, like finger claw nails on to get some good scratches in?
I didn't do any damage. It was actually more than one person actually came and tackled me. So
wow.
It was like,
and what did you do to that guy that made him so angry? The first one.
He said that I was rude to him at an after party, and I don't really go to after parties. So I'm like, what? Okay, whatever. Just have fun.
So then, did they call the police and they took you to jail?
No, they did not take me to jail.
Okay.
I told them that I would never work in this establishment again, and I was actually crying at that point. It's like I left, and I was like done with it, whatever. But then, as I'm at home, like, you know, relaxing, I feel pain. Like my back was hurting, my arm was hurting, so I went to the hospital. Right. And the hospital, while I was there, an officer came in and was like, "Do you want to press charges?" And I said yes. And so, of course, they had to go and get their names and all that other stuff, and brought it back to me. But I had to go down to the courthouse in order to press the charges. Right. And before I could do it, they did it as well.
Of course they did.
But they didn't. I believe they only did it because I did it.
Yeah, definitely
so
they did.
It's kind of my fault that I went to jail, but whatever.
So then they took you to jail after that?
Yes.
Tyra.
So we both went to jail.
Oof, Lord, I gotta cool off from these stories. You've been through so much, and now you have to go to jail for a security guard.
Yes.
Ugh. All right, so that was eventually you went to jail, but they were like, "Oh, sorry." What happened at the end of that?
I got out of jail. I went to court. They didn't show up at court. The next day was their court date, and I went for that, and the judge was on their side, and so nothing happened. I was like, whatever. Okay, so I just ruined my reputation again for no reason.
Wow.
I was like, okay.
Another okay whatever moment for Tyra, just having to brush it off and keep it going. So in the meantime, you went and got a car with nice window tints. You smoked a blunt, and you had a little bit of a blunt left. And you're like, let's head to North Carolina, y'all.
So this was back in 2000. This was in 2011, I believe. And I was with my boyfriend and my hairstylist, and that's when I was living in Atlanta, and we were headed out to North Carolina, and everyone's like, hey, are we gonna get some pot? We wanna smoke. It's like, okay, cool. And we got some, and then we're in the car, you know, chilling, relaxing, listening to music,
right.
like a normal road trip. And so they're like, light up. I'm like, okay, let's light up. And we lit up, and we're smoking, and next thing you know, there's cops just on the side of the road. And my boyfriend at the time, he was speeding, which is why they came after us. And he was driving a Chevy Impala with tinted windows.
Right.
Which I didn't know, but now I know I guess that's considered a thug car. And
okay.
to look out for that, so.
Well, I gotta write my Christmas list for Lady Red, Chevy Impala, tinted windows, huge bow. So make sure I get a huge bow for my Lady Red Thug Mobile. I'm gonna get you, Lady Red. All right, continue.
And so he was speeding. They put us over, and we're like, oh crap. And so he's like, you gotta eat the weed. And I'm like, what?
You gotta eat the weed. You gotta eat the weed.
I've never heard that before. So in the car.
And how many people were in the car and they were like, Tyra, you eat the weed. You eat the weed, Tyra.
It was 3 of us in the car, and so like we're smoking at the time, and so we throw the blunt out the window, and all like the weed that hasn't been rolled. I started chomping down. Like, I don't know how to do this, and I didn't know. Like, I couldn't get it down, so I'm drinking soda, and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So it's my boyfriend. The person in the back seat didn't do anything. And so we rolled the windows down, let some of the smoke out. I put my sunglasses on.
That'll fool them, Tyra. I'm sure that'll cover it up real good.
I was high. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
you were high and eating weed when you're good. I'm sure that'll be fine.
And so he comes to my side of the car, and he's like, roll the window down. So he rolled it down, and he was like, are you guys smoking weed or anything? I was like, no, like we're cool, just hanging out. And you can clearly smell it in the car.
Yeah. And
so he was like, you're lying. We have to search the car. He made my boyfriend get out, which he's no longer my boyfriend, by the way. Made him get out the car, and he looked at me, he looked down, but I didn't get what he was saying. He had dropped some that was still in his hand. And we didn't know, so then they brought dogs. They made all of us get out of the car. My boyfriend starts crying, and in my head, I'm like, this punk ass bitch. I'm like, why are you crying? Like, what? I'm telling you guys, I was like, if you see the mugshot, you can tell my eyes are like this, like closed like that.
Right.
I was gone.
Right, because you were just eating all that weed. It started to hit your bloodstream.
And so they find what he had dropped, and they're like, you guys are gonna go. So he calls his grandmother on the phone, let her know what's going on, and I can hear her. She's loud as day. You guys better eat the weed. And I'm like, well, how did she even know, like, to eat? I didn't.
Thank you, Grandma. Thank you, Grandma.
And they took us in.
Oh, and were you at any point like, does anyone watch Drag Race?
No, I was hoping and praying that no one knew who I was. If they ever released that footage from that car ride to the jail, though, because they put us in the same car, and it was like Bonnie and Clyde. Like I'm really chilling. I'm talking to the police officer. I was like, I don't know. It's my first time going to jail, but I wasn't. I shouldn't say that. I wasn't excited about it, but I was intrigued about the whole process of what was going on.
Lady Red loves that right over there. Lady Red can't be something like, she wanted to go to jail. You're like, you watched a lot of episodes of Law and Order.
Yeah,
You're like,
but
clung, clung.
I didn't.
This is interesting.
And I wasn't scared at the time. I mean, because I was happy, of course, because of.
Because you were high as fuck.
But I was like, you know, whatever. And then I got there, took my mugshot. They actually yelled at us again because they set us right by each other. And so my hands were behind my back, and I'm kind of feminine, so I crossed my legs and I leaned over my boyfriend like this. We're going to jail, babe, and don't do that. Like, you guys separate. I'm like, oh, okay. So I took the mugshot, and then I went in the back to sign papers and stuff. And as I'm signing, the printer starts going, and all these women, like the officers and stuff, and the people working there, go to the printer, and next thing you know, I'm signing pictures that they're printing out. And
wow.
I'm like, oh my God. But I was happy that they knew who I was, but I wasn't, but I was happy.
Because you thought they might treat you nicer from now on, and they did.
Actually.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go on the cell with all the people. I was able to like, just sit there and wait to be released.
Wow. Tyra, let's hope that this year you don't have to say, okay, whatever, to so many motherfucking things.
I'm not. This year has been great, actually. So far, so good.
Hey, 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 Qween.